Overpass first appeared in December of 2013 as part of the Winter Offensive update. Despite being relatively new, or perhaps because of that, it has had some of the most interesting changes to its layout. The spawn points and bomb sites have remained in roughly the same places, yet the cover and passageways between them have changed considerably since its first release. Here's the original version. It's recognisably Overpass, yet different in almost every way. So different in fact, that I'm going to give you a trip around the entire map. I describe this version as cluttered, for reasons that will soon become obvious. I said so. Immediately, there's a new entrance to the site which makes the attack considerably easier than in the newest version. It's a one-way path as there's no way back once you jump down, but I suspect that it was intended to be used mainly for covering fire and setting up grenades. Onto the site itself, which has clutter everywhere. The bomb zone itself is even situated around the huge concrete support. And what's this? There's another one-way path here. The whole area feels a lot more open and exposed for attacking terrorists. I'd argue that with so much visibility from this sniper spot here, Olof doesn't even need a boost spot of his own. So yeah, there's no hut here for terrorists to use. If they choose to go B, they've got to go B. The CTs though, have a bit more choice. The corridors between B and A have actually remained pretty similar since the original version. But in this old version there's a very unfamiliar passageway leading through here which goes to Lower Park. Running through it, it feels a bit like an afterthought, with many seemingly unnecessary twists and turns. This area remains fairly similar, only there's no way of getting to Long A without walking all the way round. Once again, it seems that terrorists are tied to the route they initially choose, making rotations and fakes take a lot longer. The site itself is very cluttered, and this wall is, riskily low. You could scout jump enemies from across the map from here. Let's hope that nobody abuses this. The two passageways to B are both accessible from down these steps here. As I said earlier, these have remained pretty similar, so let's head on over to Long A. This map doesn't have many high walls. There are so many spots that I just want to jump out of it from in this version. This passage also feels more enclosed and claustrophobic, and is a much larger commitment since there's no way of changing your approach once you start down it. The park is different and functional, but is a little bit boring, and then it's a direct path back to terrorist spawn with no options to choose along the way. And that concludes the tour. I feel that this version of Overpass forces terrorists to commit to the site they originally choose from a lot more, but it's a starting point. Throughout January and February of 2014, the map saw numerous adjustments. The January update immediately changed bombsite B to one more similar to what we know and love today, and decluttered A somewhat. They quickly raised the height of the wall here to stop it from being exploited. There were 3 separate, moderately sized updates in February, but I'll lump the changes together for the sake of your sanity. Once again, they avoided changing the layout too much and instead worked on improving how easy it was to navigate the map. This involved widening tunnels and entrances to places, removing clutter and improving visibility, as well as drastically reducing the number of trash cans. The park also got a substantial downgrade. In March, bombsite B finally got itself a new wall which makes the site itself very similar to how it is today, and A got all weird with the addition of an accessible hut that I swear was included solely for comedy value as it only made defending the site easier. The fence was also closed up. The map also got 2 new corridors. The first is rather familiar, connecting Upper and Lower Park via the indoor area. The second, if approached from terrorist spawn, starts off looking familiar, and then gets super weird and narrow. Knowing what we do today, it's painfully obvious that these 2 corridors should have been combined to simplify a very messy part of the map. In May, the drop-down terrorist entrance to B got removed, and so brings this map ever closer to the current version that we know and love today. Plus the park got some new swings. It looks as though somebody messed up the patch notes for this map in July, since it mentioned a new entrance to A, but didn't include it until another update a few days later, and then there was another update later on that didn't get any notes at all. The hut from Canal to Lower Park has also reached its final form. As far as I'm concerned, the map is now very similar to how it is today, apart from that weird little hut in A and entrance from Long. But the hut was removed in August 2014 in response to feedback from the ESL-1 Cologne Major, which also encouraged them to remove the 2-man boost spot in bombsite B, cleansing the map of any known boost spots. After this incident at a major, where Olof sacrificed himself for the defuse, Valve added a graffiti in tribute to his honourable sacrifice. An update in September added a boiler to the map. And in November, during the 3rd and final major of the year, this happened, once again with Olof at the helm. Valve fixed this immediately afterwards, definitely cleansing the map of any possible overpowered boosts. Also putting a warning advising against climbing over the barrier as a little Easter egg, and as a warning to teams thinking of boosting over in future tournaments. They also replaced the stairs leading down to A with a drop. The following month, in January of 2015, the entrance to Long A was remade to finally give terrorists an alternative path into the site. And in March, they added back the steps to A and generally reworked the cover in the site, as well as fully opening the door to the bathrooms. In July, after nothing complained about the train's timings, they made its approach predictable and consistent every round. And lastly, in October, they fixed the final boost to the map that Trelux had discovered, and tamed the deadly red toolcart that was in Connector. Surely there aren't any other fixes that are needed, right? And that's it. There have been many other minor tweaks and adjustments to this map over the years, but with so many big changes to cover, why be boring? Check out other videos like this one on my channel here, and don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe before insulting me and disliking all my videos.